Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I'm Mrs. Fozia Afzal, Senior SST English. Our today's topic is unit number 6, television versus newspapers. Dear students, the learning outcomes or the objectives of our today's lecture are that at the end of this lecture you should be able to understand or comprehend and analyze the text of the lesson, unit 6. Then you should know the similarities and differences between television and newspaper, and then you should be able to summarize the main points of the lesson. Okay, beta, you know that this is an age of information technology and media has taken up a very central position in our lives. And it seems that media has changed even the pattern of people's behavior and daily life activities. But we need to know that what should be our realistic approach. In fact, the main purpose or the main function of media is to give us information and to provide us entertainment. So we need to realize that media is our slave and we should use it for our advantage rather than becoming a slave of it and to use it to our disadvantage. So we should use media only in our necessities and only to take information and awareness, and to some extent we can use it to be entertained by it. Now think for a while and you will just tell me that what kinds of programs do you like to watch on television? Oh, I think that Jeeto Pakistan sort of programs like that. Yes, I know. Okay, and now tell that what kind of news do you like to read in newspaper? I think that sports news or the news related to showbiz, right? Okay. So, what do you think that which medium of new information from television or newspaper, which is most important and why? So, unless we know the similarities and differences between these two, or we compare and contrast these two mediums, we won't be able to answer this question. So let's see that what are the similarities between television and newspapers. So the similarities are that both of these mediums, television and newspapers, are giving us news and information. Then both of them provide us entertainment, and thus both of these mediums are equally effective because they are giving us news information and they are entertaining us very effectively. So these are similarities. These are the similar points between these two. So what are the differences? So there is a contrast between television and newspaper. So the main difference between these two is that you know that television is electronic media as well as newspaper is print media. And you know that this is a very bitter reality that in this age electronic media is taking over print media. I mean that people are more interested towards electronic media, and day by day they are just leaving behind print media and they do not just like to read read for their pleasure as previously they used to read books and magazines and like that. So what is the next difference is that you know that to watch TV we have to sit at a specific place, and if we want to listen to the news or the news headlines we have to be at there at a specific time. For example, we want to have the headlines of 9 o'clock, so we must be over there at 9 o'clock, otherwise we will miss the news. But we can also record it and watch it later, but it will not be the news of 9 o'clock then. Okay, then but the newspapers can be read at anywhere and anytime, because you can carry them with you everywhere. Okay, next you see that to watch television we do not need any effort. Yes, there is very little effort, that you have to lift your remote control, right? Only this much effort. And you do not need to know any language proficiency. It means that you can watch and enjoy a program on television, whatever language it is being broadcasted in, because you sometimes you enjoy it only because of its audio visual effects, and you are not so much interested in its language. While you cannot read newspaper unless you are skillful or you are proficient in that specific language. For example, if you want to read the English newspaper, you have to be expert, or you have to be skillful at English language. Next difference is that on television the news are live, because they are being broadcasted as the events are happening, and they are more updated news. Okay, remember breaking news and all that, all the time breaking news. So this is live and updated news, the events that are happening. So while on the other hand, newspapers give us more in-depth coverage. It means that on one specific news item there are a lot of views and editorials and columns, and one news has been discussed in many columns in having different viewpoints. So we can have more in-depth coverage of a news from newspaper rather than on television. Okay, next difference between these two mediums is that you know that on television all the time events are happening and the news are being broadcasted, so we do not have time to give them feedback on a certain news item. While in newspapers, readers feedback or response can be given. How we can give response? In letter to editors, you have you know that you have recently learned how to write letter to editors. Yes. Okay, so we can give a reader can give their feedback in the form of their letters to editors, or also their comments in their online newspapers. Then next difference is that television is more appealing due to its audiovisual images and audiovisual effects. So it attracts a large number of audience rather than the newspapers, that it is not so much appealing due to printed contents, and especially the young or the children do not just like to sit and to read the newspaper. They are more interested in television. So beta, these are the differences between television and newspaper. And now we'll read our lesson number 6, our unit number 6, television versus newspaper, which is a comparative study of these two mediums, and it also presents some of the contrasts of these two mediums. So to read our today's lesson, we need to know these words. So what is broadcast? Broadcast means to transmit a program on television or radio. Coverage is reporting of a news item or any incident. Okay, distinct means very striking, marked, prominent. Okay, what is entertainment? Entertainment is a performance that people enjoy. Then leisure time means free time. Luxury means comfort or delight. Omit means to leave something out. Okay, skip. Now omit is different from skip is different from omit. Skip means to leave out something and to do the next instead of the previous one, right? So not to do something but to do the next thing instead of it. This is skip. Okay, next is proficient. Proficient means skillful or expert at something. Aspects means viewpoints. Primarily means original or at first, or you can say basically. Okay, auditory means related to hearing. Okay, and validity means soundness, authenticity, or truth of something. Feedback means response. Convenient means easy. And rival means competitor. Now let's start our lesson, unit number 6. Now see your first paragraph. It is on your page number 68. I hope that you must have taken out your books. Okay, this is on your page number 68, first paragraph. News coverage over television is different from that of reading newspapers. Newspapers were primarily established to cover the news, and later on they added entertainment. So you know that the basic objective of printing newspapers was to cover the news, but after some times entertainment was also added in newspapers so that readers are attracted towards it. And on the other hand, television was mainly invented for entertainment. So the main purpose of invention of television was to entertain the people, entertainment. But after that it became an effective news medium also. But later on it was also become an effective news medium. So both of these mediums, television and television news, has become a very powerful rival. Rival means competitor. So now it means that there is a strong competition between these two. Newspapers and television are the competitors. Okay, though both of these mediums cover the news very effectively, there are some distinct differences. Distinct means very prominent differences in the way they do it. So in the first paragraph it is being discussed here that television and newspapers both are very effective mediums of coverage of news and providing us entertainment, but even then there are some difference between these two. So now let's see your second paragraph. Newspapers do not require us to sit at place and read the news. So newspapers do not require us to sit at a certain place, because we can carry our newspaper at everywhere. Busy people may read the newspapers any time of the day, and they may read the news that is important to them early in the morning and carry the paper with them to read in the bus or a van. It means that it is very convenient for a person, for a reader, that he can carry his newspaper with him to his workplace or in his van or wherever he is going. Okay, they may also choose to omit certain aspects of the news that they are not interested in. So you know that sometimes we only read the headlines of the newspapers, and we can omit any certain news that we are not interested in. But you know that on television we do not have this facility. We have to listen to every kind of news whether we are interested or not, unless that we switch off our TV, right? Okay, third paragraph. Television, on the other hand, requires its viewers to be at a certain place and at a certain times. So you know that they cannot choose to read it on the move or throughout the day. They cannot even choose which piece of news they wish to skip. Now you understand that when we are watching a television news, we have to watch every kind of news, whether it is of our interest or not. Okay, one way could be to record it. We can record it and watch it later, but it is not very convenient for us. Okay, next, television brings laziness in us. Why? Because we do not require to do any effort. We just have to carry our remote control, and we can just sit in our sofa and we can enjoy our chips and popcorns with our favorite Pepsi Cola, right? So it makes us lazy. We can even become lazy couch potatoes, if we watch so much TV. So we can view the news with a little or no effort. So television does not require any effort from us, and it is practically a form of entertainment. So if we have the leisure time, we can view the television news any time of the day and night. Okay, television broadcast the news as it is happening. It is live news, and much mastery of language is not necessary, because we can enjoy television programs in any language just because of their audio visual appeal. So a person with a basic knowledge of broadcast language will be able to view and understand it and enjoy it. And in comparison, the reader of newspaper, okay, what do you think? If a person wants to read an English newspaper, he doesn't know English, can he enjoy it? Can he read it? No. He has to be proficient in the language that he wants to want to read the newspaper in. Okay, next, although television can give us the most updated news and visuals, newspapers can give us more in-depth coverage. So from newspapers we can have much more information than from the TV, because here editorials, column writers can give us their expert views and analysis that we can digest slowly as we read them. It means that for one piece of news, there are a lot of viewpoints of column writers and from letters to editors, that we can guess that what the really the news is about, whether it is authentic or not, and we can have a complete analysis of that news item. Okay, many people also opt means choose. So many people choose to read more than one newspaper a day. So who can do this? I think they're only the grandfathers or grandmoms who are so much at leisure that they can read more than one newspaper. Oh, it can be, all right. Okay, newspaper a day, so as to get different viewpoints of the story and to check for its validity. Validity means that if some people are very free, like the grandfathers and grandmothers, they can read more than one newspaper to check that which news is valid or which news is true or not. Okay, so readers can also give their feedback to the articles by writing to the forum pages. That you are also writing letters to editors these days, right? You will be doing one more in this week, inshallah. Okay, viewers of television news do not have this luxury, as the news flies too fast. What luxury? This comfort that television viewers cannot give their feedback at the same time as the news are being broadcasted, because they are being broadcasted so fast, and all the time the news are poured in and you are just watching them. You cannot give your feedback to them. Feedback to be relevant to a specific piece of news. Okay, so this is the concluding paragraph. Each medium, so television and newspaper, both of them has strengths that the other does not have. So it means that each medium of news and entertainment, television and newspaper, have their strengths and weaknesses, but each makes use of strong points that the other lacks. So television news is like television news is like having a fast food meal, whereas reading newspaper is like having a 10-course dinner. So you know that here the writer has used a simile. As you can see this question in the box, which simile has the author used and why? So you know what is simile. Simile, you have already learned your figures of speech, similes and metaphors. So television is being compared to fast food, because you know that fast food is prepared and served very quickly, and whereas newspaper is being compared to 10-course dinner. So you know that 10-course dinner means to have a complete meal and having soups and salads and appetizers in the start, and then having the main meal, and then at the end you have your sweet dishes and desserts. And these kind of dinners are prepared very slowly. These are also enjoyed and eaten very slowly. So the writer has compared the newspapers to 10-course dinner, which we enjoy very thoroughly, and which we eat very slowly and digest very slowly. So the ideal seems to be if one has the time to both read the news and watch it on television. So to conclude, we can say that both of these mediums are equally effective, and each of them have some strong points which the other lacks. But it is up to us that we may choose whatever news medium we want to choose, which seems to be convenient for us. So beta, now you must be able to do the comprehension exercise at the end of your lesson, because all these questions are based on the points that we have just discussed, and you will answer these questions, comprehension questions, which are given in your exercise C on your page number 72. I hope that you must have thoroughly understood the lesson of today. Okay, and now do try your comprehension questions. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.